12 days of Beardsmas 2023. That means we are doing 12 days in a row of free content, free giveaways, and free positive vibes. I hope you guys are enjoying these shows. I know I sure am. Today marks day number 9. That means we're going to go through all 4 of these companies one more time. Today, we're going to cover Fable Beard Co. We're going to go over Fable Beard Co.'s free giveaway for you guys, and of course, hit you with this history lesson from someone that had facial hair, whether of the past or the present. If that sounds good with you guys, say it with me. Yeah, hit that like button, aka the thumbs up, and let's get right into the history lesson. Today's lesson is about someone who is often forgotten, but is a key member of the development of this country, the United States, and that is Edward Wingfield. Now, he is known as the first president of the Virginia colony. That's a pretty big deal. And more notably known as the rival of John Smith. Yes, that John Smith that you're thinking of, but we'll get there. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning. Wingfield is born as one of 10 siblings, and his father unfortunately and tragically died when he was only 7 years old. Not his father, but Wingfield, of course, Edward. So he's a 7-year-old, loses his father. He has 9 siblings. He does a lot of raising himself and raising his siblings and really just kind of discovering and finding himself. Now, his family was very wealthy, right? I want to make sure I put that out there. He went and lived with family members in all sorts of different countries and areas that had castles and palaces. So they did very well. His mom got remarried also, but he still wanted to kind of blaze his own path and figure out who he was. So he fought for not just one place, but actually 2. He fought for Holland and Ireland in their military and was very good at it. He was notable on the battlefield for being a difference maker. Now, he kind of got some money on his own. He had some investments from his family, and he was one of the founding members of a trading company known as the Virginia's Company. Now, he was a heavy investor, but he was also very active. If today's terms, we would probably call it like a board member. He was on the board of a big company. Well, the Virginia's Company decides they want to invest in a colony in the New World. Yes, in America. And so they get this like recruitment plan going to get sailors and colonists to make this really dangerous and hard journey over to this undiscovered, really like unknown new world. And they do it. And Edward is a big part of this. They get around, I believe, 160 people between the sailors and the colonists to go over to Virginia, and they go along this trip. And notably, he is the only member of this company that is an investor, that is a founding member, a big, like kind of big shot at the company that makes the trip. So naturally, it makes sense to make him the president of the colony. So let's set that standard. He's the president, not really because he was voted in, but just because he was a part of the company that was funding all of this. Well, they get over on this huge journey across the Atlantic on a ship, and I said rival with John Smith. Well, it started out pretty rough. He actually, Wingfield himself, tried to have John Smith executed on the trip over. Yeah, that's going to sour any relationship right off the start. They decide not to execute him. They get over and they land in Virginia in the spring. This is important because they don't have any food. They don't have anything to really survive off of. In the spring at this time in Virginia is far away from having any crops, especially if they haven't planted anything yet themselves. So he has the task of being the leader, of being the president, and essentially helping them survive to get through this tough season until they can have crops and have steady food and steady water. Well, he doesn't really do the best job of this, and we'll talk about a couple of factors of why, but essentially he went into a strict military ration. Now remember, this is a military man. He grew up fighting in many different militaries, so it wasn't a big deal to him to say, no, you don't even get a spoonful of beer, you don't even get this much food, you get exactly what you need based on what we have. And this led to a lot of starvation and led to a lot of anger. Well, before it gets too far down the road, essentially they realize there's a bunch of hostile natives here, and they communicate with the company and say, we need to protect ourselves. The company gives direct orders and says, no, do not build a fort because the natives will think that you're permanent here and it's going to get even more hostile. John Smith says, we need to build a fort. Wingfield kind of agrees with him, but doesn't really speak out because he doesn't want to go against the company as the company man. Well, they don't build a fort, but within a matter of just a couple of weeks, the natives do attack, killing several of the colonists. John Smith ended up being right. Now all the people are starting to really turn to John Smith's side, and they're kind of looking side-eyed at Wingfield, and they decide, you know what, we are going to build a fort. We need to survive. Nothing else matters if we're all dead, right? We've seen stuff like Roanoke and other things. That's a whole nother story. And Wingfield gets charged with designing the fort to protect them, not only the fort, but the land and the space for farming. And he does a brilliant job of designing a fort. I've actually been there. It's kind of like a triangle with one side being the water and then two sides being on the land. He sets up the cannons perfectly. He sets up the exterior, the shape to be able to handle any possible attack. It was brilliant. He even made up these like little tacks. They look like the games that you play as a kid that they use to keep away the cavalry of horses. This guy was militarily brilliant, but he was not a farmer. He was not good with planning out food and sustaining crops. The location that he chose, rather than some other locations nearby that were suggested by people like John Smith, was not good for food. It was good for the military, but not good for food. That led to more hardships, more starvation, and this is all within just the first couple of months. They end up getting together and booting him from the presidency and throwing him in jail. Now, the cool thing with this story is a lot of times I'm doing research on like ancient people and we don't have writing, we don't have this or that, and it's a lot of stories, and I can get down to the bottom of it. I'm pretty good, right? 2 master's degrees in college. Didn't teach me a whole lot other than how to research, which I'm happy about today. It's not a regret. So I did a lot of reading because we have first-hand documents from many people with their writing, like actually from them, which is really nice, especially when people have made it digital and I don't have to read their handwriting. Wonderful. One of the columnists actually wrote and was so mad at Wingfield. He said, if he tries to go back to London, I have friends in England and I will make sure that there is revenge. Dang, like that is like beef back in the day with the colonists. Goodness gracious. Well, he does go back to England. He goes and essentially is running a school until the last day of his life. He put everything into this. He died of natural causes in his early 80s and went on to live this kind of like peaceful life, stayed away from all the craziness that was going on. And often today, especially as someone that taught early US history, he's kind of forgotten. He's kind of left out of textbooks. When I was teaching 8th grade, it wasn't even in our curriculum to talk about the first president of the Virginia colony. And then to me, as a history lover, I'm like, this is kind of important. And to understand those early relations with the natives and the mistakes that they made, I found this guy to be very, very interesting and one of those like turned villains over time because I think John Smith has become beloved with movies and cartoons and stories where I think he had a lot of value. Now, was he perfect? By no means. Absolutely not. He had a couple rough decisions, but he's a very interesting figure and he rocked a beard. The last thing that I'm going to leave you with, guys, that I think is the most important fact with this story is he was criticized for his decisions, but he was never criticized for his actions. And what I mean by that is he led by example. When he told people, you need to go fight, we need to go out there, he was on the front lines, not only leading and guiding, but he was fighting himself. And one of those direct quotes that I got out of the writings from the colonists, when they were praising him on his battle style and his battle skills, someone said he was out there and was so brave that he took an arrow through the beard. Exact words. Through the beard. Now, it didn't hit him, it didn't harm him, but think about that. You're in battle. You don't have heavy armor on. You don't have anything like that. And you take an arrow through your beard. How close is that to your neck? How close is that to your throat, to your face? Whoo! That'll make your hair stand up. And again, you want to relate it to 12 Days of Beardsmas? This man took an arrow through the beard. Could have led with that, but I wanted to finish with it. Absolutely love this one, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Let's pop over to Fable Beard Co. One more time, you guys. I simply want to talk about just some kind of final things with this company, and that would be I really, really love their beard oil. If you're looking for a medium thick on the thicker end of viscosity, give it a shot. If you want a company that has a vast cornucopia of scents for you to pick from, they are amazing. If you like storytelling, if you like characters, if you like art, they've got you covered. Do you know that when you make an order, they give you a letter that has a hand-pressed wax with their logo on the seal? That's cool. They do all the little things right, you guys. I really do recommend this company, DNC20, for you guys to save. On their CBD side, and if you're wondering about CBD, it's an anti-inflammation ingredient. Essentially, it's going to relax the pores. It's going to allow nutrients to get to the source even quicker and even more efficiently. In the end result, what does that mean? Your beard's going to be softer almost always, pretty much for everyone. I recommend the Grower on the CBD side, or the Creator, which is my collab. And then on the normal side, I recommend the Wizard. This is actually based on Colin, the owner. This is a really wonderful cologne scent. Now, of course, I have a collab on that side named The Teacher. Those are givens that I recommend, but I would love to see you guys explore the Wizard, and I would love to see you explore the CBD Grower. They're both fantastic. Awesome. Thank you, Fable Beard Co, for being a part of this series. Whoop, over to the giveaway one more time, a 3-month subscription to their subscription service. Essentially, for 3 months in a row, you're going to get a new beard oil from Fable sent out to you for free. That's pretty dang cool. To enter, sign up with the Gleam link in the description if you haven't. Be subscribed to this channel. And then number 3, leave a comment down below. And I want it to be a positive comment about someone or something. I don't need them about me, guys. I'm not fishing here. Do you have something positive about Fable? What about a family member? What about a friend? What about a community member that's out there? Drop a positive comment to show some appreciation, or just highlight something to put good vibes into the environment and the atmosphere. I think this is the season where a lot of people need that. Seasonal depression is tough, right? No vitamin D, being trapped inside, being sick, all that is tough. Let's do our part to put some positive vibes out there. I can't wait to read those ones, you guys. Thank you for watching today. Dancy Bearded, please stay bearded and stay positive.